computer. Hey, welcome to my podcast. It's Jose Rosal, your favorite Dominican, live from the Dominican Republic. This is not live, but I like saying live. With me today, I have Nabeel Azeez. I love this guy. Very opinionated on Twitter, very opinionated on Facebook, but it's always fun. He's a superb copywriter. And during this conversation, we'll be talking about copywriting, making an extra income online, and you'll see how easy it is to get some income online, because Nabeel today will show us a little bit about that. You caught me in a great mood, man. I just came back from the gym. I have my protein shake right here, so I'll be drinking it while we have this conversation. Instead of tea or instead of like coffee, I'll be drinking this thing here. So I'm pumped up to have you in the podcast, and welcome, man. How are you?
It's my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me on. Finally, I'm on Jose Rosado's podcast after so many years of us knowing each other.
Oh man, yeah, like around 2 years. I went 2 years, and we DM'd each other for a while. We even worked together on some stuff, but we had never had like a video conversation, which isn't that amazing?
Yeah,
we never had this kind of interaction, and we've still like worked together just through DMs. So
exactly. I think
let's talk about that, man. Let's talk about
I think
online business and doing that. Mm-hmm.
I think that's the beauty of Twitter, right? We don't really have to, almost like have a direct personal relationship, but a lot of business gets done on Twitter these days.
That is true.
Especially,
that is true.
Especially on our corner of the internet. Yeah.
Yeah, we call it money Twitter. Now, that said, I would like to know a little bit about how you got started with the online thing. So before you were a copywriter, what did you do for a living?
Before I got into copywriting, I started off in purchasing at a shipping company, purchasing in contracts. And then I was involved in the financial controlling department as well. And then eventually, our company got bought out by a larger shipping company, and then my position was redundant. In the meantime, I had been doing the copywriting on the side, but it was sort of half-ass. I was just trying to figure out, whether this is something that I could actually make money in. And I did make some money out of it as a side hustle, got a few paying clients. And then after I got made redundant, I decided to go all in. And in fact, there was a short time, a few months between me getting terminated from my full-time job and me going 100% all in on the copywriting thing, where I don't know why, but a few of my friends, they had a marketing agency, and they convinced me to come on and join with them as sort of like their main content marketing person, or to help them grow their business through marketing. And the funny thing is, now that I look back on it, and I did everything. I mean, I normally how we do it as Muslims, usually we consult people who we value their opinion. And this is just a general thing that everybody will do, right? So I consulted my wife, I talked to my best friend, I talked to even my brother. I was like, yo, listen, should I take this job? It was a job. Even though it was a bit of an upgrade, because I was technically a partner and I was getting a revenue share with them. And they all said yes. Obviously, my wife's going to say yes because she prefers the security. My brother would obviously say yes because he's a bit more he's less risk taking than me. And my best friend, obviously he wants what's best for me, and he's going to choose the safest option because he's a 9-to-5 guy. He doesn't understand entrepreneurship. And in Islam, we have this special prayer that we do in order to make us choose big decisions. Okay, so I did that prayer as well, and I decided, okay, all of these people who I value their opinion are telling me go get take the job just for the security, But in my gut, I felt, looking back on it, in my gut, I felt like this. Like for some reason, I was like, no, I don't want to be an employee again. I wanted to do it on my own. Um, anyway, a few months went by, and I was in the job. It was doing okay, but something wasn't clicking, and we just weren't getting along. My way of doing things and their way of doing things is very, very different. Uh, um, I tend to take more risks. They're very risk averse. I like to experiment a lot, and they just want to stick to what they know. A lot of different things. I mean, actually, these guys are my friends. They're still my friends to this day, and also they're still what my longest running client. We've been doing business for years now. So eventually, what happened was they were like, "Yo, my man, this is not working out. We're gonna have to let you go." So then was the time that I realized that, man, this was I should have listened to my gut all along. Because I lost maybe six to 8 months of this, where I was trying to help these guys grow their business,
Instead of
and it
growing
just
your
wasn't working
business.
out. Yeah, instead of growing my own business. Anyway, you live and you learn from these things. What I understood was that if you have the entrepreneurial mind, and once you get that bug inside you, it becomes very, very difficult for you to be in a job as an employee, even if you're like a partner, getting revenue share or something like that. What happens is essentially you become unemployable.
Yep.
Nobody can tell you what to do anymore.
Oh, I love it.
Uh,
Don't you?
yeah, exactly. And sometimes it's a little bit hard because I'm still a service provider, right? Not like you. I'm not a Twitter, the number one Twitter guru.
Oh,
Uh,
no, man. I provide services too. That's an extra income. Do you think I will stop providing services if I can sell that for $4,000, $5,000? Like, no, man. I like the extra income and I just delegate that thing. Pay me and I tell my web designer to create the website. So basically free money.
yeah. So the thing is, and even it becomes difficult balancing your client relationships as a service provider, because
Yep.
you still have a little bit more freedom than you do as an employee, but still that relationship is there, that they're paying you and you're expected to provide a certain level of service for them.
Mm-hmm.
and and I mean, don't get me wrong, if you don't like the client, you can fire them at any
Absolutely.
point. But the thing about most service providers, 90% plus, and maybe I would count myself among those service providers as well, is that they need the clients for the money. And when you're in that position, it becomes very, very difficult
To
to
fire the
not
client.
think, exactly, and to not think like an employee. That employee mindset is very, very hard to break.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah. Let me tell you something about the employee mindset. It's something I struggled a lot. And it's like, here's how I see it. The employee mindset is like the features. When you're talking about copywriting, you have features and benefits. Employee mindset focuses on features. I will give you this and you give me money. That's like the employee mindset. You have to get at your job at 8 a.m. and you have to leave at 5 p.m. And if you want to be the best employee, you give the extra mile, 2 or 3 hours more. You open the business and you close the business. So it's very featured oriented. I was stuck there for a long time. But then I realized, like, look, I can charge more money for the same service if I only stop focusing so much on the features and the functionalities of the things that I'm selling and more on how this thing will help them fix their problem. Which problem? It could be that they don't have a lead generation system, or maybe they don't have a good looking website, or maybe they just want a, a landing page to sell something, to promote their courses, their information products, their, I don't know, their consultations. That changed everything for me. When I went from feature oriented to benefit oriented, inside my mind, everything changed. Now I focus more on providing the service, focusing focusing on what I promise becomes true. You will have a system that will help you save time, a system that will make you money, a system that will just reduce your stress of trying to get clients on the phone or whatever. And that changed everything for me, which is a huge mindset shift. So for example, when you started as a copywriter, when was that mindset shift from features, like forget about features, talk about the pains, talk about the aspiration and the goals, and focus on the benefit for the client? Did you ever had like that switch when you started on copywriting?
I think you can't really point to, or personally, I can't point to a specific place where that switch happened. I
Mm-hmm.
guess it tends to sort of happen gradually as you get more experience, as you become more confident in your abilities to deliver a win for your clients. You start to think more strategically in how you can actually solve the client's problem. Maybe it's
Yes.
not with web design, maybe it's not with copywriting, maybe it's some other solution. And as soon as you start to think like that, and you say, and let's say Jose comes to me, hey Nabeel, I need you to write me a
An
webinar
email
or
sequence or something like that.
yeah, email sequence, and I'll ask you, maybe I'll have an application form, and I'll ask you what your goals are, and I'll read through your application form and say, hey Jose, you told me you wanted to do X, Y, and Z, and you need an email sequence for it. However, it seems like for what you want to achieve, maybe an email sequence is not the right thing at this time. Why don't you go and do A, B, and C, and see how that works, and then come back to me again and let me know if you still need help with the email sequence, and I'll help you. So my goal is not actually to sell the client on buying my copywriting services. In fact, I mean, if you have any amount of workload as a service provider, suddenly you almost want to not take clients because every client you add on is now additional work, and
More,
especially if
yeah.
you're doing it yourself. So my goal is actually try to get them to not hire me if I'm not the absolute best fit for them right now.
How long did it took you to realize that? Because as I was a freelancer for a long time, and I just wanted more clients, more clients, more clients, more clients, and then I just fired them all. I don't want to work with them anymore. But I just made that decision, but it took me a long time. How did you realize that that was the way to go? What made you change your mind in regards to that?
Honestly, for me, I've always held myself to a very high standard. Even when I first started with my copywriting, I was determined. Normally, the way that people will start with their service provider journey is they will, maybe they will do some work for free. They might go on Upwork or Freelancer. Maybe they will do some work for friends or something like that for a very, very low price, and they will pay their dues, as it were. For me, I never actually went that route. I always charged uh, more than I thought the client would be willing to pay.
You have a
And
tactic for that.
and
Before you continue, would you share that tactic? You tweeted that
oh,
the other day.
did I? Oh, that one. Yes, yes. So this is
Yeah.
my pricing strategy for 90%. 90% of service providers, okay? Maybe 95%, because most people don't charge the correct price. So whatever price you're thinking of charging, add 10 to the end.
That will
And
solve most of your problems, most of your money problems.
exactly.
I
And
love it. I love
and,
it.
and actually one person I
Look,
helped
cheers to that tactic.
one copywriter friend, a lead came in, and it wasn't really my style of copy, and I knew this copywriter who was doing this kind of copywriting. I introduced her, and everything went well, and I was just following up with the copywriter, and they were about to, she was about to give the quotation, and I gave her this advice, and then I told her, just say the price and then shut up, and whoever talks first loses. And she did it, and they accepted it, and there was no negotiation back and forth, anything. So I made her 10x what she was going to make with just
Just
one
that
move.
little thing. It's such an amazing thing. You just say, okay, for this, it's a one-time payment of, let's say, $5,000. Are you in? Then you just leave the uncomfortable silence until they break and they say, okay. When I'm selling some of the stuff that I sell, I like doing it with video, because I want the person to see me, because I've learned how to convey a very warm personality, which, for example, I'm doing it right now. If I were like my normal self, I'd be like, oh yeah, this is my normal face and my normal way of talking, which it's bullshit if you're selling, but you have to be like smiling and being like all warm and stuff. And I've noticed that when I say, oh, this is the price, if they flinch, they can't afford it. So what I do is I always downsell. I always try to get paid on the phone. So if you cannot afford this expensive service, so okay, buy this extra one. It just costs you $500. It doesn't take me any time. It's just like a pre-done stuff. Take it. And usually 90% of the people, they say yes. And I get paid for the phone call, which is a big change for the own way that I do businesses, because I actually hate hopping on the phone and trying to like asking questions and trying to be trying in between quotes persuade the person to actually understand that I can help them solve that problem. I hate all that process. I hate selling, but it's something that I've realized that I have to do that. I have to get over my own ego, put that aside, because at the end of the day, I have a solution to a problem, to a painful problem. And I also want to give a better lifestyle to my kids. So put that hate for that part of the process outside of your brain and just do the work. And it's always fun when at least I get paid for that phone call. So it has made the phone call or the sales call, or the discovery call or whatever, more enjoyable, because I always say, okay, at least I'm going to get paid for something. And even if someone doesn't buy something, I always record the call and I can go over it and see where I fucked up, can you curse in your country? So sorry for that. But what else? So I can go through that sales call and see where I messed up, and I just find a way to fix that on the next phone call. Yesterday, Monday, what day is today? It's like Tuesday, whatever. Monday, 9 of August. I had my best sales call ever, and I got a no. But I learned so much from that phone call because of all the questions that a person asked me. I learned so much about handling objections that no one have ever told me before. I found a way out of that. But still, the person, it seems that he just wanted to get my free advice, which is something that happens sometimes. But man, this online thing is it's just a game, and I like the game. And I want you to talk a little bit about the game of the online business, about how to get started, about what to do when you're lacking the clients or you're lacking an offer. So if you were a beginner, someone who was starting out, how would you get started? Well, let's talk about specifically your career, copywriting.
Yeah, I get a lot of questions about getting a start as a copywriter
Mm-hmm.
on Twitter and my DMs and things like that. And most of the time, I don't respond, or I reject them out of hand. Very rarely will I give them a response, and most of the time, the response will be to either discourage them from pursuing it, or I'll just give them a link to a resource. Why? Because, see, the thing is, and you can correct me if you disagree, okay?
I
This
know
is
I
how
will
I
agree. I know I will agree. I know where you're going to. Tell me. But I know. Let's see if I have the mental acuity to predict the future. Tell me.
So, so here's the thing, right? This is how I think about all of this, online business. Whether you're talking about providing a service, whether you're talking about selling info products, whether you're talking about doing drop shipping or e-commerce or whatever you want to do. Okay. If your question is how do I get started, you're not serious. Because the beginner level information is the easiest information to find online for free.
Yep.
You do any kind of Google search on any of these topics, you will find a million hits with one Google search. If you haven't spent the time to at least do the research and to understand whether this profession or this angle or this business idea is something that you're willing to pursue, that you might enjoy, that is right for you, then you are wasting my time and you're wasting Jose's time. And I think it's very selfish of people to think that maybe they're not even thinking about it. Maybe it's like, okay, whatever, this guy's on Twitter, let me just ask him. But think about, if you actually care about receiving help from a mentor, you have to always understand what is in it for them. You're essentially putting a demand on their time and asking for help for free for time that they usually charge for. Now, sometimes, to
You
be
have a
honest, I
hefty
will.
price per hour. Big.
And if they want to pay, no problem. Some people, I will send them the link to my my paid
And you never
consultation.
hear about them.
Right. So I usually take it case by case. Now, some people, I'll send them the payment link, okay,
Uh-huh.
and then they'll disappear. I get rid of them. Most people I'll ignore because it's very clear that
They
they're
just
just
want
wasting
free
my time.
information.
Yeah. And it's not even that they want the information. It's like, okay, he's there, let me ask him. Like, people have almost zero self-awareness online sometimes. And then the third kind is usually I will answer people who actually, it looks like they've put in a little bit of work. I always mention my friend Nate Schmidt, who's on Money Twitter as well. He's a big e-commerce guy now, but he got to start, doing email copywriting for e-commerce stores, and he apprenticed under me for a while. It wasn't free. I made him do some work for me, but the reason why I helped him is because when he reached out to me, he had showed me, hey man, I know I don't have anything to offer you right now, but here's what I've done. I've done X, Y, and Z. I've studied this person. I've read this and this, and this is what I'm thinking of doing. This is how I'm going about it. Do you have any tips for me?
Yes.
So clearly he has done his homework, and
Yes.
he came to me with specific questions, specific help, for which I was able to help him. And I said, okay, you do this and this for me, and we'll get on a call once a week, and I'll tell you everything I know. And he specifically wanted help with how to find clients. On this call,
Yes.
I told him, I gave him the different strategies I would use personally if I was him to get clients. And I also told him, while you're doing client work, look into building an additional stream of revenue. Look into drop shipping, look into or look into
Niche
niche
size.
sites. Yeah. Why? Because it is, while he's doing client work on the side, he'll be practicing on his own offer, and he's going to get much better, much faster. Because of this idea, and I wasn't the only one who gave him the idea of drop shipping. There's the other guy, Scotty, as well, who helped him a lot. I'm not the only guy who helped him. But because of this idea, he started researching into drop shipping, and eventually what he did, he fired all of his clients, and now he focuses only on drop shipping. So he achieved the, I mean, I would say maybe, I don't know if it's 50-50 or 80-20, but a lot of copywriters, they want to go from doing client work to owning their own offers and become in the entrepreneur space. So I don't have to deal with clients anymore. So he achieved that goal. And now he's free to continue honing his craft, but now he owns the entire thing. All of the value that he creates with his marketing ability, he captures all of the value. The thing about copywriting is, even though there's zero risk, okay, you're compensated with the amount of risk that you take. The employee is not paid as much as a freelancer. I'm talking about all things being equal, depends on what type of employee you are, right? So because the employee takes the least risk, the freelancer has more potential to get a bigger compensation because he's taking more risk. The dropshipper has more potential to get more compensation than the freelancer because he's taking even more risk.
Yep.
Finally, the offer owner or the product owner or the business owner who is taking the most risk, he has the potential to earn or get the most amount of compensation because he's taking the most risk. That's just a general rule of thumb. The higher up the ladder you go in terms of your ability and willingness to take risk, the more money you make.
That's a big statement, and I totally agree. When I decided to start promoting my stuff online, I realized that very fast. The more risks I took, the more my income went up. The more I raised my prices, which is also a risk, because you're risking not getting the client, the more my income went up. And the best thing is, as my income has been going up, my stress levels has been going down, because money solves all money problems. It might not cure you of depression, it might not cure you of anxiety, but it will cure all the things that provoke that. So it's a huge, for a lack of a better word, catalyst. And money at the end of the day is, let's say, physical value. It's just your time in physical form, and it's how I see it. And if you find ways to separate value from time, that you'll be making more money regardless of the time that you invest in creating that value. What do I mean with that? You create an information product, you're separating value from time. You do it once, you sell it 1,000,000 times. You create an agency, you just sell and you let someone else do that work for you. You're separating value from your time. All you have to do is sell the product, or look at it, just running ads and sending them to a lead generation system, or to whatever you want to send them. You're basically buying money with money. You're separating your time from creating value. That's the mindset, in my opinion, of a business owner, which is something that is a little bit above the freelancer. Freelancer is still selling his time in exchange for money, meaning value. The business owner separates that, finds a way to provide more value in less time. And that is the key. That is the key for any business. More revenue for the business in exchange for the fewest amount of hours you can invest on that particular thing that you're building. That's why there's a lot. The information era that we're living in has made it even simpler. The other day I saw one of my friends tweeting something that was like, it was bordering on ridiculous, but I kind of agree with him. He tweeted that he would prefer to be 18, 20 years old with $100,000 in debt than having 30 millions of dollars today at his age, 35, something like that. That borders almost on ridiculous, okay? But he said that being 18 today in 2020, it's just easy mode. When you find those skills, copywriting, web design, whatever, and you see how simple it is to actually get people on the phone and pitch them their stuff, even if you don't have a lot of experience, and getting paid $1,000, $2,000 for that service, which is still a lot of money for any new guy. You couldn't do that 20, not even 20 years ago. You could do that. It's easy mode in 2020. Thing is, not a lot of people are willing to pay the price, which is the entry cost of entrepreneurship is embarrassment. You're going to fail a lot, and you're going to, you'll have your embarrassing moments if you do it out in the public, and pitching something that say no. That's something that might feel embarrassed. You feel embarrassed about that. So that's the entry cost. And if you're willing to pay that price, the entry cost, embarrassment, man, you have the power to achieve basically anything online. I do believe that. Now, I'm not saying that you're going to make $1 million in one day. But once you have that fearlessness and that shamelessness of promoting something in which you believe, it just makes it so much simpler. So for example, I believe that you believe that you can deliver results, do you?
Yeah, now I can, or now I do, because one of the hardest things that you'll find as a beginner copywriter
Huh?
is getting your work tested by people who understand what copywriting is for. So when you just start out, you're sort of writing whatever the client wants to write. Maybe you'll write a web page here, you might write a sales page there, you might write a blog post here. The thing about that is you have no idea, you're not getting the results back, because copywriting is there to facilitate conversions.
Yep.
And the way you know whether your copywriting is good or bad is whether it converts. And in order for it to convert, you have to get people to read what you write and then
Yes.
take some sort of action. If you're not getting the data back, excuse me one second, I've got a cough real quick. If you're not getting the data back, you don't know whether you're improving as a copywriter. So for the longest time, I would just write stuff, and I knew I was good. I was at least above average, at least above average. And for the longest time, I was doing projects, and I knew it was okay, copy pretty good, much better than what a lot of people could write, but I wasn't getting the data back. And so because of that, I wasn't exactly sure whether I'm as good as I thought I was. However, recently I've had a few clients where I would write for them and I could see that the impact I was making in their business. And because of that, now I'm much more confident in my abilities. And as a result of that, I'm much more confident when I'm quoting my rates to clients. I'm able to raise my prices now with more confidently, because I know that if I work on something, I'm able to get a result for the client. And that's the power of measurement. And even if you do
Yes.
something like web design, even if you do something like web design, you want to be able to measure results as much as possible. So as a web designer, you want to have your Google Analytics set up after you do. You want to do a screenshot of the before and after, the full page screen grab.
Yes.
And you want to look at things like how many leads are being generated now on the website. How much is the website converting as a whole in terms of generating leads? What was it before? If you don't know any of those things, how can you say to a client with a straight face, if I build you a website, you will get more customers? Because you don't know, right?
Which is what newbies, say. I will get you more money. Man, never promise you're going to make more money. Like unless you're offering like a long-term service in which you can tweak stuff, you cannot promise people you'll make your money back. That's something I've learned the hard way. So what I, for example, teach my students is, look, um, make the client imagine the future. If you create a system that sends, let's say, you use Facebook ads to send someone to a landing page that then sends them to a discovery call, and then that person tries to, hey, how are you? Learn a little bit about that client, then sends them to a sales call and close the deal right there. Well, you can more or less measure that. And if you are on top of that, you can actually promise you're going to make your money back, but you have to be on top of that thing. But if it's a one-time thing, it's rare. It's rare that you can promise something like that. So I rarely, when I'm selling this kind of stuff, unless you're willing to pay me a retainer for me to drive traffic to your offers, I don't tell you like you're going to make your money back. No, what you're going to get is something that will reduce the amount of time that you invest, like following up on clients or whatever. If you want the proven system, it's a long-term thing. 6 months, you'll make your money back 10 times, I don't know, because it will just keep getting more influx of people, and you can tweak, and you have now the analytics, and you can measure it, which is easy mode. Dude, being able to know the data what's happening, the conversion rate, the amount of traffic that you're driving to that offer, how many people are reading. You can even know what they're reading. You install something and the website and the application tells you like where they're like scrolling down and when they go out of the website. All of that stuff can be measured. You couldn't do that 10 years ago. So that's why I say today it's easy mode. It's not working, you change something. Did it work? Leave it a while there. Tweak it. If the things go down, if the conversion rate goes down, go back to the other thing. Tweak it a little bit more. Went up? Perfect. Keep it there. Invest more money. Went up? More money. Went up? More money. If it goes down, you tweak a little bit more again until you start making even more and more and more. Dude, I would pay everything to be 18 again and having the knowledge and the skills that, well, not even the knowledge and skills, just knowing that what I just explained is possible. It's insane. When you started out copywriting, did you have access to all of this, like easy mode measurements, seeing how things worked out in real time?
I mean, the thing about when I started was, and this is why I don't reply to a lot of people that message me asking my advice on how to get started, because I figured out everything on my own, by myself, doing like basic Google research, and going on forums and reading books
And asking.
and looking up. Yeah, exactly. And
asking on forums, I'm called.
Exactly. And the thing about that is, I forgot your question, bro.
Don't worry, I just went on a rant. So when you started out, did you have access to all these easy mode analytics? Just having access to all the data that you can just, okay, this is working. Let me double down on this. Do you have access to that kind of stuff?
Right. So I haven't actually been doing copywriting that long. I've only been at it for a few years. And the way I got into copywriting, it wasn't necessarily 100% pure copywriting. It was more like a wide digital marketing understanding with a deeper focus on copywriting. So I learned a lot of different skills along the way because of managing my own websites and doing my own blogging. I learned how to set up Google Analytics, set up Google Tag Manager, how to find the right kind of theme for my website, how to set up WordPress themes, how to spin up websites in a few hours. All of those different skills I learned alongside my copywriting, and because of that, I have this knowledge. But now, and even then, when I was just getting started, all of this information was available. You just sort of had to know where to look. And I mean, there's millions of resources available online that you can understand this. And I wanted to, you said earlier that you would love to be 18 with just the knowledge that this is possible. And I don't think people who are younger than us realize how easy they have it, because when you're that young, you don't have any responsibilities. You have much more energy. You're able to stay up for longer periods of time with getting less sleep. You're able to eat
whatever the hell you want. Nothing happens.
Exactly. And you just have so much more energy and time and mental resources to be able to devote to something. Whereas in comparison, when I started copywriting, I was in my 30s. When I went full time into copywriting, I already had 2 kids. So just imagine how much harder. And this was my first time trying to be an entrepreneur, trying to make my own money, trying to work for myself. So just imagine how much harder that is for someone like me in my 30s. deciding that I'm going to work for myself with a wife and two children and responsibilities and things like that, versus deciding to be somebody like Nate Schmidt, who was 21 and he
A
figured out,
pizza
oh, I
delivery
can,
boy.
exactly, and I can make this so much money. Dropped out of college, fired all his clients, and then peace out. It's so much easier. It's so much easier. And just a few months, 3 months to 6 months of concentrated effort, and you could probably start from zero and you could be at where me and Jose are right now, maybe even ahead.
I I totally agree with that. I totally agree with that. Um, people who are younger today, let's say 20 years old, have all the advantages that I personally didn't have. When I got started with web design 12 years ago, man, we still had to design websites with tables. I don't know if you remember that time, but you had to have divs and stuff like that. You could use it, but you had to design websites in tables, which was a huge headache. Today, you install WordPress, you install one of those page builders, Elementor, Divi, whatever, Beaver Builder, some crap like that. You put it, that thing will give you a template, you slap it, and you just change the text. That's it. That's your website. It will do that automatically for you. Heck, you can even tell the hosting service to do the website for you for like $100. My time, you had to do it yourself manually. You had to learn a little bit about database, how to install WordPress, what happened if something broke. Now you have customer service. Hey, this broke. And they'll just reset your website back to where it was yesterday. It's so fun, man. Easy mode. Easy mode. And for example, for us, I'm 33. I suppose you're 30 something. Give me a second. For us, we also had an easy mode comparing us to our parents. So what came before us made it easier for the future generations, but it has never been easier right now. And regardless of your age, because you started at 30. I started at 30, this thing of online business, 31, something like that. And in 2 years, I actually quit my job in 4 months after I started. I was able to quit my job in 4 months. So I started with online business and selling stuff online. And while I'm not the norm, there are many people that, like me, are able to make a full-time living online as a freelancer, as a course seller, as an influencer, which I hate the term, as whatever, man. Selling music, dude, I just cannot get this thing up out of my head. There's a website called Parcel, I don't know how to pronounce it. They sell potatoes for $15 a piece. Have you ever paid $15 for a potato? One potato. And what they do is that they just engrave like the face of someone in the potato and you send it to the person. It's a prank. That potato, like in 1 week, it's already rotten. So you're paying basically $15 for something that will disappear like in a week. But think about that. You can sell a freaking potato for $15 or $20 today in age. What makes you believe that you cannot sell your services for 1,000 or 2,000 or 3,000? Or like me or you for a very high price, $5,000, $10,000 for a service? What makes you believe? I'm talking to you right now, the listener. You can, because we're now in easy mode. And I want to talk a little bit more. Now let's go deeper about your struggles of online business. I still struggle with some stuff with my online business. Because being self-employed or being a business owner or having an online business also comes with a lot of liberty. You can do whatever the hell you want with your time, which sometimes you just waste your time on bullshit, for example. In your case, which are some of those struggles that you constantly experience and how more or less do you deal with them?
Yeah. One thing is that when you start to work for yourself, it's difficult for you to, I mean, it's very, very easy for you to just work constantly, especially if you're working on the computer. And because of that, it becomes difficult for you to have what they call a, you know, a work-life balance. And in fact, I mean, I'm not so much of a believer in the idea of work-life balance, because I understand that when you're building something, it's going to require an additional investment on your part, you know, to build something until you can, you know, start to delegate some of those things and free up some of your time. But it does become a little bit difficult to set aside time for your family. um, it does become difficult for you to manage your time in general, in the sense that are you maintaining your health, are you getting enough sleep, all of these things. So those are some of the struggles that happen in, you know, in the personal life. As far as the business goes, it becomes very easy to to think that you're investing in things for the sake of your business when you're actually just wasting money. I'll give you two examples. Okay. Me personally, I spent one of them, I still think is a good decision that might pan out later, but one of them was a terrible decision. So I spent about $4,000 to get a premium domain for a media site that I plan on creating a media company. Um, and I still haven't used that. I still haven't used that domain yet. So I spent like $4,000 a few years ago, and I still haven't used that domain yet because I just haven't had the time to launch the media project. Okay. The other one I spent, was it 10,000? I think it was like around $9,000 for premium branding. Okay, for my personal brand, that really I wasn't at the stage in my business where that would have been important,
Yeah.
like a decision that would move the needle. So, and then I could also point to certain investments in courses, uh, where you're buying courses, but you're not actually going through them. You justify to yourself that you're buying these courses as an investment in your business so you can up your skills and learn something. But the actual buying of the courses is sort of like it's almost like playing video games, in the sense that you think that you're making progress, you think that you're improving as a person, but that improvement is virtual. It hasn't actually realized in the real world.
Yeah.
You're buying these courses and you think that you're investing in your business, but really those courses are just almost like a mental kind of masturbation to substitute for the fact that you should be taking actual action.
Are you me? So yeah, I've struggled with that too. Um, what I do is with for example, with the courses, the ones that I actually go through, I put them into practice. I don't wait. I don't wait. If I don't go through that, I'll just leave it there, and maybe a couple of months later, I'll take a look at that. If I don't like what I'm seeing, screw it. I won't use it. But I remember buying a course like it was a inexpensive one, like $400, some crap like that. Copywriting course, by the way. I was a little bit like, okay, I was scared of spending that money because I was basically starting out. And even though I had made a great income, $400 still was a big deal for me in that time. But when I read the copywriting course and I understood what the hell was copywriting, what the hell was market research, what the hell was like, for example, a sales angle, or how to persuade people through the written word, how to write an engaging headline, everything clicked. And I didn't even went through the course completely at that time. I went through the course completely like 2 weeks ago again. Like 2 weeks ago, I went through it, all of it. But when I bought it like 2 years ago, I read like the first 2 or 3 chapters, and it clicked. It clicked right there. My conversion rate was in average 2% before I got that course. After I implemented what I understood from the course, from the first 2 or 3 chapters, it went up to 5%. That increase in percent, 3% increase, man, that's a huge increment. No matter which industry you are, 1, 2, 3% increment in conversion rate is a lot. Some of my courses even have up to 8 and 10% conversion rate, which is nice. I don't know if that's the best conversion rate. I know of people that have a higher conversion rate than 10, but still 10%, anything above 2% is good. 5 and 10 is like very good. More than that, you're like maybe one of those experts that everyone trusts. But still, that course made it easier for me to understand what copywriting was, and it just helped me so much with that conversion rate. You were going to say something, I noticed.
Yeah, and the thing about going from 2% to 5%, it's not a 3% increase. It's 150% increase.
Yes.
So if your website is generating $10,000 a month at a 2% conversion rate, if you go to a 5% conversion rate, your website is generating $30,000 a month.
Yes.
You've essentially more than doubled your business.
Yeah. That's oh man, that's what I hate for percentages, because people don't understand that 1% increase in conversion rate means a hell lot. Especially if you're banking a lot of money online and you're driving a lot of traffic to that offer. It's such a blessing to have an extra 1%. Imagine having an extra 3%, and in some cases an extra 6% what I used to average when I got started. It's insane what you can achieve with copywriting. And of course, it's not copywriting only. It's actually understanding what the hell your potential customer, let's call it your avatar, is going through, their problems, their struggles, their aspirations, their goals, the words that they use, because every market has a particular set of words that are very specific for them. I remember talking to this guy, he's into astrology, and I don't understand anything about that. But, that he sent me his offer because I just wanted to go through it because I was helping him with something. And I asked him, like, in your market, people understand that. True? He said, yes. I didn't understand anything. But in his market, they know what that means. So when you understand the market and you understand what's happening, you can use their own words to persuade them, to make them feel that you are someone that can actually provide a solution to their problems or fast track their goals. So we've been here for an hour. Do you have an extra couple of minutes?
Yeah, I have as much time as you need.
3 more hours then. So I just love online business. Let's say that you are someone medium level. You're making $10,000 to $20,000 a month, which is in any place in the world, that's top 1%. I don't care what people think. $10,000, $20,000, you're top 1% in the world in general. Now, being the top 1% of the 1% of the 1% of the 1%, that's something different. That's a different league. But for someone who's making $10,000, $20,000 a month, and let's make it more specific. Someone who sells, let's say, copywriting, okay, and is banking constantly $10,000, $20,000 a month. What should that person do to increase that income? Which things should they focus on to break that 20,000, let's say, ceiling?
Right. Okay. So, and this goes down to really a direct response principle called RFM. RFM stands for recency, frequency, and monetary. All right. So recency means essentially how many new customers are you bringing in per month. Frequency is how often they're buying from you. So how many repeat customers do you have? And monetary means how much is the order value or the lifetime value of every single client, right? So you have three levers you can push. You can either get more customers, or you can get your customers to buy more often, or you can get your customers to buy in larger amounts. Somebody who's a copywriter who's making $10,000 to $20,000 a month, let's say on the high end, they're making $20,000 a month. Usually, if they're working by themselves, they're capped. Okay. If they have a really super high ticket offer and they're extremely skilled at what they do, maybe they can make $30,000 a month, being fully capped and not being able to take on more clients. So if that's the case, how do you grow? All right. One option is to delegate, to learn how to delegate. So they have to build a team around them. Okay. Maybe they'll delegate a VA to handle a lot of the admin stuff. Maybe they'll hire out some additional tasks that they're doing that would free up some of their time in order to take on more client work. Okay. And once you start delegating, the thing is your expenses are going to go up as well. So even though you're bringing in more revenue, some of that revenue is going out in terms of expenses. And that, like, maybe you might make more profit, or maybe you might make less profit, because at the end of the day, it's not really how much you make, it's how much you keep.
Yeah.
But all things being equal, if you start to delegate certain tasks, your profit is going to go up generally, because you're increasing the size of the pie. And even though you're getting a smaller slice, the entire pie is bigger. So the actual total amount of the pie that you eat is a little bit bigger as well. Okay. So that's one way. The other way is to start to be able to take on more work by bringing on junior team members, or adding maybe a writing partner or something like that. Okay. So you start to have either you would maybe increase, you would go the agency route, as it were, where you would start to bring in other experts who would then complement the services that you offer. The other way is just to raise your prices. Okay. And most people are undercharging anyway. It's very, very easy. And
Add
we just
zero
showed
to
you.
your
Exactly. And most people are undercharging anyway, so it's very easy to raise your prices. But the thing about raising prices is
you have to change your customer avatar. You have to
that's
change the customer you're trying to attract. That's hard.
that's exactly that's one aspect of it. The type of customer that you're working with right now, who's used to paying a certain level, is a different type of customer that pays $10,000 or a sort of sales letter, versus a customer that pays $25,000 to $30,000 a sales letter. They have a different mentality. They have different problems. They have a different offer that they're selling. They have a different way of generating traffic to those offers.
Yes.
So that is one aspect. You have to understand the customer avatar that will allow you to charge those premium prices. Okay.
I agree.
There's another aspect of raising prices where a lot of times people will try to fake it until they make it, which is popular these days. But the thing about charging prices is, a lot higher prices is,
you have to deliver, man.
Yes, that's one aspect of it. You have to deliver. You have to deliver because there are more expectations. And number one, your reputation is everything in this business. So if you get a reputation for not delivering, it doesn't matter what price you charge, because you're not getting any clients anyway. Okay, so Jose is right. You have to deliver. The second aspect of this is that if you charge a higher price without you believing that you deserve that higher price, you will tend to self-sabotage. And you will start to do things that prevents you from getting more clients and pushes them away.
Yeah.
Because your internal is not in congruence with your external. And this is some kind of woo-woo stuff, but actually it works itself out in practicality in the real world when you try to raise your prices before it's the time to do so. Okay, so that's raising prices. The third way, and this is the way that I've started trying to make a little bit more money, is that I am offering retainers which have a performance component to it.
You get a percentage based depending on the sales.
Exactly. So, And in this case, I'm able to reduce the base retainer that I get a
Mm-hmm.
little bit, in order to say, if you want a lower retainer, I will charge you X amount of percentage of the sales. Sometimes I will say, okay, I'll do it on pure performance, where it's I don't get any base pay, but I'll only get a larger percentage. The funny thing is
They
that
end up paying more. They just don't know it yet.
they will end up paying more, and sometimes the smarter business owners, they will not go for performance, because everybody says they will pay based on performance until it's time to cut the check.
Yeah. When they see, oh shit, this guy was charging me $10,000 and I just had to pay him $30,000.
Yeah. um, the thing is, when the business is small and they're only
Uh-huh.
making $10,000-$50,000 a month, it's okay paying a 10% performance fee. Like, it's not such a big deal. But if the business is making $100,000 a day, 10,000, ten, fifteen
Yeah,
thousand dollars a
that's
day, they're doing like 1-2 million a month easy. Now when you have to cut a 10% check,
that's
just
$100,000.
$200,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it becomes very difficult. And usually the people who teach service providers how to set up performance deals, they'll say, what you want to do is you want to set up a base with a performance, and you want to give them the option to buy you out after, like, let's say a year passes.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because it's very, very difficult to find a client who is going to stick to that performance agreement. So let's say Jose hires me on a performance pay, and then I get Jose to 1 million a month, and Jose is paying me $100,000 a month retainer. And he's like, why am I paying this guy copywriter $100,000 a month? He doesn't do any work anymore for me. Because normally when a copywriter comes, he does the work in month one. All of the work is in month one. And then by month 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, now he doesn't have to do any work anymore. You're just printing money, because he did all the
Yeah.
work in month one. But because Jose doesn't see me doing work, he's like, yo, fuck this guy.
Hey, absolutely haram.
and then and then what's going to happen is, now Jose is going to say, listen, Nabeel, I don't want to pay you anymore. But if we have it in the contract that Jose has to buy me out, usually what's it's going to be, it's like, we'll take the average of the last few months royalties or the commission, and then we'll say we'll do a multiple. Let's say you got to pay me 6 months or 8 months or 10 months or 12 months of the average royalty that you were paying out, and then it's finished, right? So that's how you structure performance deals. And that's probably, a performance deal is the easiest way to make more money as a copywriter, where you get royalties based on how well your copy performs. Why? Because the nature of being a copywriter is, you are like a ronin, like a samurai for hire. The nature of being a copywriter is not like the nature of being an agency owner, where he has a big team and he's got systems and processes and things like that. The nature of being a copywriter is doing it solo. So for a copywriter, because they have this skill of being able to write words and make those words turn into money, performance deals are usually the best way that a copywriter can increase his income.
I was talking to a friend a couple of weeks ago, and I was telling him, like, dude, I want to sell a new service for, let's say, fitness people. Create them a funnel with some lead magnet that then sends them some email sequences, the classic. And then it just sends them an email depending on their goals that they choose. If they click something inside the emails, newbies will get this kind of emails, intermediate will get this kind of emails, people that want coaching will get these kind of emails, and then of course they can schedule a call. So it's just like a funnel, different funnels for different kind of needs, that all leads to making money automatically. That's one of the services that I was thinking about to provide. And I know how to do that. I have the technical knowledge to do that. And this guy, he was telling me like, Jose, look, you're a smart man. I know because I'm talking to you. And he told me something that opened my eye. He told me, look, learn high ticket closing. Learn that by heart. So you can just focus on having the sales calls, get paid $10,000 for creating that funnel in 3 months, let's say, and delegate that to a team, to your team or to someone else that you know can deliver that kind of stuff, which you can, man, there's a website called DashClicks, which you can white label all of that shit. I haven't used them, but I've heard really good stuff about that website. And a week after, I realized, man, this guy is correct. It's correct. And right now I'm focusing so much on learning more about how to close higher ticket offers. I'm talking about $10,000 deals. I'm not talking about 5K. I'm talking $10,000 deals or more, including the performance-based stuff. That's what I'm focusing for the rest of the year and the next year. So I can just focus on selling, because I have my funnels already. That all leads to either a call or me selling our information or product or whatever. And with time, I could hire some Dominicans because I live in Dominican Republic, pay them, teach them how to do that, and they'll sell my stuff for me because I'll be there with them. And I'll just have a lot of mini Jose's selling my offers for me. And I separate value from time. That's what I want to achieve in the next couple of years. I'm not in a hurry because I have a good brand online on Twitter and trying to grow something on Instagram, and that generates a great income that I don't have to worry about, like, oh fuck, I need money today. But that's my main focus right now. So that's another option on top of the other options that you told me. Learn how to close high ticket offers, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 ticket offers, so you can just delegate that work to a team of people that can actually deliver that. And the great thing is that I know how to do all of that, all of the technical stuff. So I will know if it works or not, which is a good thing. So it's not something that I recommend people to do, like sell something you don't know that doesn't work. You need to know that works. Unless you're selling for Microsoft or something like that, or a business that you work with. But that's my goal right now. That's what I'm working towards to, just to separate my time from the value that I'm providing. And that's not for everyone, because telling someone, hey, this is this service, if you want to join today, this will cost you $20,000. Are you in? That takes a lot of guts to tell someone, like, in their ear or in their face, pay me $20,000 now, one payment. That's a huge like mindset shift, man. I used to make $20,000 in 1 year a couple of years ago, and get paid that amount in one call. That's a huge shift. That's what I'm focusing right now, to close that kind of deals. I have the skills, I have the knowledge, but I'm still working on the offer and learning how to pitch it better. I'm practicing a lot with my audience, by the way. I'm offering a mentorship right now, and I'm practicing all of the high ticket shit with my audience, and I enjoy it very much. And they join. Right now, I'm mentoring 3 people. I offer a mentorship for several $1,000s. I won't say how much, but it's a lot of money. And I'm enjoying the process, all of it. I hate the calls, but I like getting paid. And I'm learning about the things that I hate. And I'm learning more and more and more and more for me to learn how to close higher ticket offers. That's what I'm doing right now. And I have the reputation online already, at least in my little corner. So it's easier because they already respect you. But I want to take that confidence for me to use it for a $20,000 deal. That's what I'm looking forward to for the next 2 or 3 years. And It will take a while. Hopefully, by the end of the year, I can make that. But I don't have I'm not in a hurry. So I'm perfecting my funnels. I'm perfecting my work. And I'm just trying to learn it better every day. And, Nabeel, I always like ending these podcasts like with a platitude. I love platitudes, man. They're like how can I say this? They're like bullshit, but it's good bullshit. It inspires people. At least they inspire me. So what would you say to anyone who's starting out or struggling to grow their business, regardless of the stage they're at? What would you say to them, just as a closing statement? Take your time.
I would say that once you understand that making money is so easy, it's so easy right now that your entire world is going to change. Jose, just from his information products alone, he's able to make at
A
least
lot.
$20,000 a month. $20,000 a month, easy. Information products. He created it once. He tweets some bullshit, money Twitter's improvement things about not procrastinating and discipline, and he makes $20,000 a month from Twitter. He's able to sell $5,000 services, $10,000 services for simple work that takes him a few hours to do.
Or that I
I
delegate.
know exactly, and he doesn't even do the work. I know copywriters that have made $700,000 a month. I know
That's the
business
goal.
owners because they have a lot of offers that they're getting royalties on, and they have other businesses as well. I know copywriters that charge $50,000 to write a sales letter plus a percentage.
Man,
I
it's
know
insane.
consulting businesses that are pulling in $2 million a month. These are not Jeff Bezos, Steve Jobs, Elon Musk type people. These are regular people like you and me. They learn some skills and they learn how to create leverage. They learn how to create value and they learn how to capture that value. Once you hang around people, and this is why I'm really impressed with the quality of people on Money Twitter, because they're exposing people, or we are exposing people to the idea that making money is so easy.
It's easy.
And the thing is, there's like almost like a holy grail in the copywriting world where most people are just trying to get to $10,000 a month. But once I started hanging around these people who are making $100,000 a month, I'm like, yo, $10,000 is nothing. And once I started actually being able to put together offers and closing clients on and learning how to close clients on high ticket stuff, I realized that $10,000 a month is one client or two clients retainer, one project a month, two projects a month. So where is the potential? $10,000 a month is nothing. $30,000 a month, yeah, you're as one person you're stretching it, but the reality is that it's completely within the realm of possibility for you to do $50,000, $80,000, $100,000 a month. Once you realize that there are people out there, just normal people. They're not like mega geniuses like aliens like Elon Musk. They're not like crazy nut jobs like Steve Jobs. They're not Jeff Bezos. They're none of these people, but they're able to make $50,000, $80,000, $100,000 a month. The possibilities are endless.
I agree.
So making money is easy, money is abundant. All you have to do is just reach out and go and take it.
I have a friend. He's a high ticket closer. He told me that he once went to a conference or one of those meetings in which people are just banking $500,000 a month, selling whatever the hell they're selling. And some of the people he actually used to admire, past tense, because I will tell you why he used to admire them. He approached these people and he noticed that they weren't as smart as he thought they were. Yet they were banking $500,000 a month, $1 million a month, because they were fearless. They believed in their offer. They believed that what they were doing and that what they do actually helps their audiences and their clients and their prospects or whatever, or whoever they're selling their stuff to. And they fearlessly, without fear, they sell their stuff and ask $50,000 in one freaking payment. You cannot pay it now, 2 payments of $30,000 then. It's crazy. People actually pay it, even though it's more expensive. So, and he realized, like, damn, these people that, okay, they are smart, but not as smart and as savvy as I thought, are making that much money. Fuck yes, I'm going to make that much money. This guy closed $40,000 in 1 week the other day, the guy I'm talking right now. So he's in that process of getting there. He just said, screw this, I'm going to make $100,000 a month, and then $500,000 a month, and then $1 million a month, because I believe in what I'm doing. And he got that fearlessness. He instilled that in his brain. He believes it, and he's in the right road to make that happen. So thank you so much, Nabeel. I appreciate what you've done for me today. I appreciate your time. I love it that you said yes. I even dressed up for you, man. This is the shirt that you told me, like, hey man, I like your shirt. You told me that on a tweet. I put this on for you only, man. It's weird, but it works. So thank you so much, and see you next time, man.
Thank you again, Jose. Thank you for having me.
Bye.
See ya.